What's up, you guys? Your jack of all games, master of none, Alec is here with a new Digimon video. We're talking about Ace Digimon. What are they? How good are they? And how do you beat them? First up is, what is an Ace Digimon? Ace Digimon are any Digimon card with the Ace word after their name. So that's Magna Angemon Ace, Lilymon Ace, Zudomon Ace. Ace isn't actually a part of the Digimon's name, so any effect that would affect the Lilymon or a Zudomon or a Magna Angemon still affect them. It's just like it's an extra keyword after their name. It's like those Pokemon cards that do a similar thing. It just means the card has extra rules attached to it. The main mechanic of Ace Digimon is Blast Digivolution that lets you Digivolve for free on your opponent's turn. But you don't get to just do this whenever you want. Blast Digivolution has to happen at a very specific timing. It's after your opponent declares an attack and all when attacking effects resolve on both sides of the field. So they don't declare their attack, use their effects, and then you Digivolve and use your... No. All when attacking effects have to be declared and resolved, and then you can Digivolve before you declare any blockers. Because you're changing the game state, and you really, you're going to want to know what the board's going to look like before you declare blockers and commit, bodies to these battles. This is especially important for a particular Ace Digimon on our list today because one of them actually comes in as a blocker, and so it'll be weird to declare your blockers and then summon a blocker. It wouldn't be very useful. But there are actually all kinds of situations where it's very important to have this timing down, and you can miss your opportunity to blast Digivolve, or you can even blast Digivolve in situations that are not in your favor. You have to be careful of that because of the overflow mechanic. And this is on every Ace Digimon. Overflow states that if this Digimon leaves the play area in any way, you lose memory. All the level 5 Ace Digimon lose 3 memory, and the level 6 Digimon lose 4 memory. And that means if they're deleted, sent to the hand, sent to the deck, de-digivolved, if they leave the play area, you get hit with overflow, and you have to cough up that memory. So essentially, Ace Digimon are kind of a net zero because you're Digivolving for free, but your opponent stands to gain memory if they can remove it from your board. It's kind of easy to get Digimon off your board, so you have to be very careful when you play these guys, and you kind of want to have an idea of how you're going to protect them too. But properly played Ace Digimon can really turn the game in your favor. But not all Ace Digimon are made equally, and I'm just gonna go in order of the ones I think are kind of the hardest to use, to the ones I think are easiest to use. And the first one on my list is actually, if I can open it, there we go. So the first Digimon on this list is Metal Greymon Ace. He costs 4 to play and 3 to Digivolve. Now, that does seem really low for a level 5. And that's true for all the Ace Digimon. They all play for significantly less than you can expect. But you're supposed to add the overflow cost to that play cost, and you kind of see the net cost of this Digimon. If you slam Metal Greymon down for 4, that's great. But if it gets removed, you give up another 3. So ultimately, you end up paying, what you should have paid. But furthermore, so hand counter. So Blast Digivolution uses the counter timing. That's after when attacking effects have resolved, but before blockers are declared. Blast Digivolve. Your Digimon may Digivolve into this card without paying the cost. That's for free. And now it has an on-play or when Digivolving effect, so it can get its effect regardless of how you get it onto the board. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. That's really, really specific. And if you're on the back foot of a game, what's the chances of the reason you're losing a game being because of a Digimon at less than 6,000 DP? Yeah, it could be a Floodgate rookie, but realistically, you're losing because of level 6 Digimon, and you won't really find a level 6 that can die to this effect. Now, Red has inheritable effects that can actually boost the DP threshold for effects like this. But then you'd have to be running a very specific Digimon into your deck, and that just means that this guy is not ubiquitous in just any red deck. You will honestly have a very hard time finding moments to use this Digimon, if you're trying to use the effect. You can always slam this guy and just Digivolve into a level 6, if you have the memory to pay that. I mean, he's cheap, but it's still 4. You gotta have 4 memory, and that's not the easiest thing to do in the world. And there are no inheritables here. The inheritable is the overflow effect. So even if you Digivolve over your Ace Digimon and the level 6 Digimon gets removed in any way, overflow kicks in and you have to cough up that memory. It's tragic. So that's why Metal Greymon made the bottom of the list. It's the most situational of them all. If you can beef up that DP threshold, he's fine. But really, Metal Greymon Ace wants to be used in a deck where it can beef up that threshold. And really, you want to play this thing on like curve with your opponent. That's early game when you and your opponent aren't supposed to have level 6s on board yet. You want to be able to cheat this guy out when your opponent only has like level 4s and below. And then you can kind of snipe their play before it gets off. The problem is, most of the time, people are going to leave the important stacks back until it's ready. They're not just going to serve you up the perfect Digimon to delete with this effect. So Metal Greymon, it could be better. Next on my list is the green Ace Digimon, Lilymon Ace. So it has, I think, pretty much the same stats as Metal Greymon. It costs 4 to play, 3 to Digivolve, 8,000 DP. But its effect is a little bit better, but it can still miss. So Lilymon, on play and when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Great! That's solid. And then you may return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon with 5,000 DP or less to the bottom of the deck. And that second effect is actually really awkward to use. If you're only one swing away from defeat, Lilymon Ace can't save you because your opponents, they attack and use their when attacking effects, and then you get to Digivolve. But the Digimon who's attacking is already suspended. You can't suspend it again. And like I said before, it's unlikely the Digimon that's a problem for you is going to be, 5,000 DP or less. It's just not likely. So oftentimes you'll be bouncing away some like rookie or some very weak Digimon your opponent swung with and somehow survived with. And then the big thing will finish you off anyway, because it is what it is. Now, this effect can be like, you can find a way to make this effect work, but it does put a lot of extra work on you to find your moments. Now, green has all kinds of shenanigans with suspension and taking advantage of your opponent's Digimon being suspended. When you're playing this in a green deck that has the ability to take advantage of your opponent's Digimon suspending, it's fine. Like, this card becomes significantly better when you're specifically playing around suspension effects, but it just can't go into any green deck. That not every green deck says, "Oh, I'm going to gain memory when one of my opponent's Digimon is suspended," or it doesn't always work out that way. Lilymon Ace is fine. It's just you're not going to always play it. You wish you could, but you're not always going to play it. Next up is Magna Angemon Ace. Same stats as the first two, but I think Magna Angemon just it's a cut above the other two with its effects. On play and when Digivolving, recover 1, right? You Digivolve or play this, it recovers. It's pretty much just like the Magna Angemon, the very first one we ever got, that on Digivolve recovers 1, but it does it on play 2, and you can play it for 4. So it's actually like really good. But that's only useful for staving off death or stacking your security for playing some type of security control strategy. The second effect says, then, for the turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1,000 DP for each card in your security stack. Like Lilymon, that second effect is a bit harder to take advantage of. You have 5 security. You might, with this effect, you might have 6. Chopping something down by 6,000, that's only gonna kill like champions and lower. Now it's great for clearing floodgate rookies that are just being annoying, but it's unlikely to truly harm a bigger Digimon. Now I will say this: a 12,000 Digimon it's attacked. It's when attacking effects have already resolved. You Digivolve into this and you cut it down by 6. Now it's very dangerous for that level 6 Digimon, because now it's only 6,000 hitting your security, and your opponent does not have anything they can do about that. They've used their effects. So that's why Magna-Angemon, I think, gets a spot above Lilymon. It's a little bit easier to make both of its effects useful, and recovery's pretty good. I mean, and then Yellow has all sorts of effects that work with recovering, that work with DP reduction. Like, dropping something by 6k, I mean, you might just delete it straight out with just another DP minus effect. There's plenty in this color. And Magna-Angemon is just really solid. It's the first of the Ace Digimon on this list that I think is just, if you're playing a yellow deck, you might as well play this. Now, if you're playing like Mastermind or something where it's a mixed yellow deck, maybe not. But I can't see why you wouldn't play this in just any yellow deck. It's a good card. Now, my next Digimon is the last of the level 5 aces, and I think it's the best one. It's Zudomon Ace. This is the blue level 5 ace Digimon. So it has the same stats as all the others, but I think its effect is probably the most like game saving. Yeah, I think it's the most game saving. So on play and on when Digivolving, it strips 2 sources, and I believe you can actually just trash any 2 sources from anywhere. It just says trash 2 Digivolution cards from under your opponent's Digimon. So you can pick and choose from 2 different Digimon. You can get them both from the same Digimon. But most importantly, it's selective in what you trash. It's not just the bottom 2 sources. So you can deprive your opponent of their best inheritables with this card alone. Actually, in fact, I was playing against my brother the other day, and he dropped a Zudomon Ace on me. I was running Mastermind, and Mastermind makes a huge stack, and so typically Source Strip isn't too useful against Mastermind, but his Zudomon Ace was able to specifically remove my Lady Devimon and my Andromon inheritables from my Mastermind, and that made the game much harder for me, because now I didn't have Block and Retaliator for all my Angels, and I won anyway, because it's Mastermind, but that was really good, and Zudomon's not done, because Zudomon says, then return one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards to the hand. And it's actually reasonable that you can strip 2 sources from beneath a level 6 and then bounce them. That's entirely possible. Is it always going to happen? No. But it probably has a target. You can strip 2 sources from a level 5, from a level 4. It's fairly easy to get this effect off. I think Zudomon has the best ability to let you come from behind and beat your opponent. Because so far with the Ace Digimon, they all kind of feel like something you want to use on curve, when it's still early game and you and your opponent are developing your boards at relatively the same rate. But when I think about hand traps, I'm thinking about defensive play. What do I do when I'm on the back foot? And of the Ace Digimon so far, it's only Magna-Angemon and Zudomon. Those are the only ones I really want to see when I'm on the back foot, because I can see a reasonable chance of them being useful. The next Digimon on my list is War Greymon Ace. So this is our Black Ace Digimon, and it's our first level 6. So it has different stats. It plays for 6 and has 11,000 DP. So it's a little bit weaker than 12k, the best level 6 DP number. Well, really the best level 6 number is 13, but you can't always get that. But it plays for 6. A level 6 you play for 6 is pretty good. That's not bad at all. But it only has one effect. It has 2 effects, but all right, here we go. So this guy's a blocker. And so it's an Ace Digimon that you can play during your opponent's turn. and it becomes a blocker. So it's an on-demand blocker that you kind of have to telegraph to your opponent that you're about to play, but on-demand blocker. But it does say once per turn, when a card is removed from your security stack, you may unsuspend this Digimon. So your opponent can attack. You can Digivolve into this thing and block that attack. And then if your opponent attacks again and hits a security, it unsuspends, ready to block the next attack. But that is only once per turn. You only get to do this once. It'd be kind of crazy if it could do it like as many times as it could proc, which I honestly think that's what its effect should have been, to make it just a bit more of a impressive Digimon, or even giving it the Mechanorimon effect where if it deleted something by blocking it, it unsuspends. I just think that it could have been more busted. It could have been stronger. A Digimon that can block twice is okay, but it overflows for 4, not 3, 4. And I can't even imagine a time when getting hit with a -4 feels good at all. And you're telling me I have to deal with an overflow for 4 for a Digimon that's only 11,000 DP that blocks twice. Of the 2 level 6 aces, this guy I think needs the most help in order to do its job properly. Because Black has inheritables that can make this a much more problematic Digimon. Black has had like the blocker keyword shenanigans forever. And it got so many weird things they can do with this Digimon that they can make it a problem for you. It's just not every Black deck wants to run those cards. And so I can't see like many Black decks even trying to take advantage of this Digimon outside of blocker shenanigan Black decks. So while it's still higher than the level 5s, just because it's a level 6 and it can block, it's not our best Ace Digimon, not by a long shot. And then I think the best Ace Digimon we got, and we've had it for a while, is the purple Metal Garurumon Ace. So it has the same stats as our War Greymon, plays for 6, has 11,000 DP, yada yada yada, but its effects pretty good. Like, they're not bad. All right, check it out. So you can trash up to 3. This is on play and when Digivolving. You can trash up to 3 cards in hand. Then you gain 1 memory for each card trashed. That means you can steal your opponent's turn from them. If your opponent is inattentive, or if they just don't have a memory fixer on their board where they're always guaranteed to have their 3 memory, you can just, for the cost of 3 cards in hand, which does hurt, you can just end their turn. Like, they'll get the 1 swing in because it's already been declared and whatnot, but their turn ends there. But Metal Garurumon is not. So when attacking, once per turn, by trashing 1 card from your hand, delete 1 of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. Yo, that's not bad. I can tell you, as someone who's played Beelzemon quite a bit, effects that say delete the Digimon with the lowest level seem bad, but they're not. They're not bad at all. If your opponent only has 1 Digimon on the board and it's level 7, it gets deleted. If your opponent has a level 6, it gets deleted. Like, these effects, they can be funky, but they essentially mean you'll always hit something. And it's a when attacking effect, so there is the caveat of this thing only having 11,000 DP. You know, there are times where you'll swing with it to get this effect, and then it'll die. Then you get hit with that -4, and it doesn't feel so good anymore. But unlike every other ace that we've talked about so far, this one actually gained you memory. That means you made it for free, or you played it for reduced cost. Then it gave you 3 memory, so its overflow will hit you for 4, which means net you only lost 1 memory. There's a few reasons why Metal Garurumon Ace is I think the best and most easily used of all the Ace Digimon on this list. Honestly, I feel like I should bump War Greymon down to behind Magna Angemon and Zudomon, just because I still think those are just a bit more ubiquitous in their colors. But Metal Garurumon is kind of the king of aces, And you should just always be aware of this card when playing against a purple deck. It kind of doesn't matter what purple deck it is. Metal Greymon Ace could just steal the turn away from you. But that kind of gets into my last point, which is how do you beat Ace Digimon? Well, it's not hard. It's really not hard. Ace Digimon have to be telegraphed. You have to have the appropriate level on board to even consider playing them. You don't burst Digivolve into the raising area. That you have to burst Digivolve into the play area. So if your opponent leaves a level 4 Digimon out and they're running red, blue, green, or yellow, you know there's a very real chance they could drop their Ace Digimon. Well, luckily, each of those colors only has one Ace Digimon. And if you know what that Digimon's effects are, you can, and because they're so specific, you can actually really easily play around them. I think only in the case of Zudomon and Magna Angemon can they get value regardless of what you do. The others, you can kind of game them a bit. And you don't even have to game them if you don't want to. Why? Because Ace Digimon only blast Digivolve after when attacking effects resolve. So if you have any effects that delete on attack, you can just blow up the stack before they can blast Digivolve, and so it's never a problem for you. And because they're Digivolving over like level 4s and sometimes level 5s, that's very deletable. There are plenty of effects that delete level 4s or lower, and there are almost as many effects that delete level 5s or lower. That's not a tough ask, and so it's fairly easy to play around them. You just have to kind of keep your brain like churning and remember Ace Digimon are a thing. If your opponent has ever unnaturally leaves a level 4 on board, especially if they seem to be playing like conservatively otherwise, you gotta think there could be an ace coming out. If you're winning a game, it's hard to imagine an Ace Digimon truly screwing you up unless you're playing against yellow, blue, or purple. I think those are the most dangerous ones for you if you're winning a game. But the things I said before still all apply. You can hit them when attacking effects. You can predict what effects they'll come out with and just keep and play around those so they can't hurt you that bad. But the best part about playing against Ace Digimon is the overflow effect. It never goes away. When they Digivolve over it, overflow stays there. If they put it underneath a tamer, overflow is still there. It might be a little awkward trying to like delete the tamer because we don't have as many effects to delete tamers, but that is a very doable thing. And Ace Digimon all have like lower stats than for their levels, so you can usually just swing over them and then cause overflow, and now you're hitting back for huge damage, or at least for gaining a lot of advantage because you just got 3 memory and you didn't have to play a card to do it. You just had to like swing over a thing. But that actually doesn't change the fact that Ace Digimon are a great tool to use. You just have to be aware that your opponent, if they're thinking, can certainly play around them, and they're not the free hand traps like we have in Yu-Gi-Oh! But that's all I got to say on Ace Digimon, guys. Leave in the comments if you think some Ace Digimon have more or less use than I think they do, and and if you have come up with crazy ways to use like the bottom 2 I put on my list, like Metal Greymon, Lilymon, or even War Greymon, go ahead and leave those too, because I do want to use all of these Ace Digimon, so I do want your opinions. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.